Hey, how you doing today? I am Tequila Coleman. In today's video, I'm going to answer the question, can God speak to you about someone being the one he has for you? So we're going to talk about this, okay? I'm actually going to share a little bit of my story. So I want to read the entire comment that was left on my one previous video, and then we're going to jump into my response. So here's the comment. It says, I had a list of what I wanted in a future kingdom spouse, but then I decided to surrender my will to God and ask what He wanted for me in a spouse. And this is from Miss Miracle. She wanted me to put this on in my video. I meditated in prayer asking what He wants for me. I heard Him say, my wife is going to be Mexican. So I said, how? A couple of weeks later, I came across this Christian women YouTube content creator who's 19 years young and I'm 18 years young. She is Mexican. I'm a white guy who's attracted to other races. That's not my own because that's my personal taste. When I saw her, I heard God say, she's your future wife. You will marry her someday. She's very attractive, different from any other women. So right now, I'm just waiting patiently for more confirmation. I hope it wasn't just my own thoughts because I don't want to mistake into thinking someone is the one when they're actually not. What do you think? Can God speak to you about someone being the one He has for you, or is it just my own thoughts, emotions? But I do also have a deep feeling that she is the one, and that we will come together someday. So this is great. I absolutely enjoy reading your comment. I love getting comments from our man in our community because I just love to hear how God ordained future husbands are also standing, praying on behalf of their God ordained wives. Okay, so let's talk about your question, your comment. So when we talk about, can God speak to you about someone being the one He has for you? Yes, God can. Okay, and I know sometimes when, here's the thing, when God is speaking to you about just anything, it can sometimes sound like your own thoughts, right? And so it's understandable for you to, start thinking, I hope this not my own thoughts. I hope this not just my emotions, right? I hope it's not just me thinking all these thoughts up, right? Because this is an attractive lady, right? But that's not always the case. When God speaks to us, it can sound like your own thoughts, okay? When God first um when I first saw my God ordained spouse, I didn't know he was my God ordained spouse, right? I was a fan. I was a follower of my God ordained spouse. Okay. So I was watching him in a video on Periscope. This was a long time ago, probably about 10 years ago. I was just watching him because I follow him online, right? And as I was watching him in his video, I remember saying to myself, and I said it out loud, I said, wow, I would really love to marry someone, like him, and right when I said that, I said, wait a minute. I said, God, is this my husband? And then I started laughing. I was like, girl, you crazy. You would never meet this man, right? That's exactly what I said. Now, and I wasn't walking with the Lord like how I am now. I knew God, but I didn't really know God. I wasn't in my Bible all like that. Okay. So that's probably why I brushed it off. Okay. Because I wasn't really walking with the Lord, right? But however, okay, um, God revealed last year that that same man who I followed 10 years ago, when I was watching him on Periscope and I said out of my mouth, I would love to marry someone one like him. God revealed to me last year and to him that we are, the one God has chosen to come together in marriage. So God, He can speak to you about someone, right? And your situation sounds like, you're just in the beginning stage where God, because you have surrendered your will to God and you ask God what He wanted for you in a spouse, now God is revealing to you, this is the spouse that I chose for you, right? A lot of people, think that God doesn't choose your mate. God actually does choose your mate when you surrender your will over to the Lord. He will choose your mate, okay? And understand, when God chooses your mate, it is for his specific purpose. Okay. So God isn't just choosing your mate just so the two of you can just get married and that's it. No, there's a specific purpose, a calling on, both of y'all lives that God wants the two of you to accomplish. It can be to, break generational curses in your family bloodline. It can be the two of you are coming together to raise the next prophet, right? It could be to raise the next president. You just never know, right? It can be, God has a calling that, you know, um, when he raised the two of you up, y'all are going to like act as a power couple. You might come up against certain systems, break certain systems, tear down, the works of the enemy and rebuild, okay, the plans of God in this world. You just never know, okay? So just understand that. Now you said something that was very interesting, okay? Because I know you are patiently waiting for more confirmation, but God actually gave you another confirmation. When you said she's very attractive, different from any other woman. See, your God ordained spouse, whether it's a wife or a husband, will be different from what you're used to, okay? And here's why, because everything about God is different from this world. God doesn't look like this world. Okay. We're not to look like this world as his children, right? So everything about God is different. The one he chooses for you is going to be different. Okay. And that doesn't mean, when you meet your God ordained spouse, you're not going to be attracted to them. There will be an attraction there. Okay. They would just something about them would just be completely different than what you're used to. Okay. If you're used to dating bad boys or bad girls, all of your life, then God is going to give you someone who is good. Okay. Everything that's completely different than what you're used to, right? If you're used to dating women, or a man who behave, in ways where they lack character. But God is going to choose someone who has character. Okay. It's going to be completely different. So that is a confirmation from the Lord. Okay. And I believe God allows for the chosen one to be different. He chooses the one, that is different because it helps the God ordained spouse to identify this is my wife because they're different. Everything about them is different. I know for me, everything about me is different than what my God ordained spouse is used to. Okay. Um, so this is like something God would use to help you to identify them, okay, as your wife, right? And we can also see this take place in when God rejected Saul as king, and he sent Samuel to the house of Jesse to anoint one of his sons as the next king. The one who was going to be the king was David, right? And when Jesse brought out all of his sons, Samuel was looking at them and he was looking at their appearance and he was like, surely, the Lord's anointed one, he got to be standing here. And God was like, God doesn't look at the appearance. Man looks at the appearance. The Lord looks at the heart, right? I'm paraphrasing here. And so when Samuel asked Jesse, because the Lord was like, nope, I rejected him. I rejected him. I rejected him, right? So Samuel was asking Jesse, is this all of your son? And Jesse was like, well, I do have one more, but there was a question. But, you know, um, David was in the back tending to the sheep, right? David was the one who was often overlooked. He was the one everyone counted out, right? That's usually the one who God chooses. Okay. So when Jesse had David come to the front, that's when God said, arise and anoint that one. That's the chosen one, right? So understand your God ordained spouse will look or even be different than what you're used to. And that is done on purpose, okay? Because your type can be the reason why you're single, okay? Sometimes our type pull us away from the Lord, okay? And so understand, God is looking at the heart of your God ordained spouse, okay? Whatever you need, whatever you've been desiring all of your life in a spouse, in a mate, that individual who God has chosen, they already have it, okay? And vice versa. So to answer your question, can God speak to you about someone being the one he has for you? He surely can. And after he speaks to you about it, he will begin to send you confirmation. He will begin to make the introduction. So even though the two of you, it sounds like y'all never met each other in person, don't even try to, make anything happen. God will do the unfolding. Okay. He really will. Just follow God's leading, his prompting. He told you this is your God ordained wife. Okay, wait for the next instruction. Okay, because he would allow the two of you path to cross, right? When y'all path cross, then y'all might start getting to know one another. Then you build on that friendship. Then it goes into courting, and then it turns into the marriage, right? You have to allow the Lord to unfold this process, okay? Because like I said, when I first seen my God ordained spouse online, I wasn't ready. I wasn't even in purpose. Okay. I probably didn't even have character back then. Okay. And so, and I'm so happy that God didn't reveal it. Like I believe I prophesied it out of my mouth, but I was doubting it, right? I just doubted that was God speaking through me, right? Because I didn't have a relationship with the Lord. But understand, it's all in God's timing. So when it's getting closer to that time for the two of you to come together, God will allow the two of you paths to cross, okay? So that y'all can start building that friendship, getting to know one another, both party got to have that same revelation. Okay. So that is my advice in this video. I am Tequila Coleman. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a positive comment. I will talk to you all real soon. Take care.